How did you determine what company you wanted to work for? At the end of the day, for me, it's all about what I have to gain in terms of experience. And hey guys, welcome back to my channel. For those of you guys who don't know me, my name is Nicole and I'm so happy you clicked on this video. Alright guys, so today I am going to be doing a Q&A answering you guys' questions. Before we get started, for anybody who's new to my channel, my name is Nicole and I am a public accountant, and on my channel I share with you guys my public accounting journey. I provide you guys with some career advice. I also include some fashion, lifestyle, and vlogs here and there. So if you're interested in any of that kind of content, make sure you go ahead and stick around by clicking that subscribe button and turning on your notification bell so you are notified every time I upload a video. Join this growing family. We are on the road to 2,000 subscribers, guys. Yes. I'll give you guys time to do that while I get my questions ready, okay? Yes. So if you guys remember, about a month ago, 3 weeks ago, I'm not sure, I posted on my community page on this channel asking you guys to ask me questions, anything in regards to the corporate world, life as a corporate girl, anything you guys want to know. It didn't necessarily have to be accounting, and you guys responded. So let me go ahead and get to your questions. Alrighty, so Sin ASMR asked me, any difficulties you've had to overcome as a minority, language or cultural barriers? Guys, I try to avoid this question, but I think it is important that I eventually do speak on it. So yes, I have had barriers due to culture, due to language, and also being a minority. But it hasn't been anything that has hindered me from getting a job or anything. It's been more so in terms of assimilating to a new work culture, a new work environment, and just really learning how to deal with different types of people. So far on my career journey, except for when I worked in internal audit, I was typically the only Black person on my engagements, and there were times where I was the only female, predominantly male, or sometimes it would be out of the, let's say out of the 5-6 people on the team, there will be maybe 2-3 girls. I will be one of the girls, and I will be the brown melanin child. Okay, so yeah, nothing really in terms of like, I haven't really faced anything in terms of racism or anything like that, but it's just been more so culturally trying to adapt to different people, different work environments, different work styles, things like that. I just try to be good with everybody, and yeah. Drink my water. Okay. Alexis, shout out to you, sis. Alexis Smith has asked me a bunch of questions, so let's get into them. How did you determine what company you wanted to work for? At the end of the day, for me, it's all about what I have to gain in terms of experience, and also how I connect with my potential employers during the interview process. So starting off with, let me just give you guys a quick background story. I was offered my first accounting internship. I literally went to their booth during the career fair and just asked if I could have some candy, and I liked their sunglasses, and the conversation started between me and the recruiter. It was a pretty good conversation. When I started my internship, it was pretty amicable. Yes, I was the only girl on my engagements. I worked with all guys. However, I was just able to find a balance, and they loved me and extended an offer, and I really enjoyed, even though, like I said, there wasn't a lot of diversity, but everybody was pretty cool, and I did see myself working there. The only reason I didn't take the offer was because of the city. I didn't want to live in that city due to cost of living. When I went to work for EY, similar situation. I was I got my internship at EY through the launch program. If you guys haven't heard about that, I'll put a description of the launch program in the description box. But same concept, obviously with EY. When I was flown out for my interview prior to my internship, it was once again the people that I connected with, how I felt after connecting with them. I felt pretty positive. When I talked to people, I just try to ask the right questions, and I was able to vibe with everyone, and I truly enjoyed. So I think one thing to know, one thing to determine the company you want to work for is obviously scout them out. You need to do your research on companies. Like all the people that I've worked for, I've done research on them prior to me accepting offers with them, and also making sure that during your interview you get a good vibe. And do internships, because your internship will ultimately determine if you like the people, if you like the company or not. So always the best way for you to try out a company is by interning, I could say. Okay, what advice would you give someone who is trying to get their career started in accounting but never had an internship? Sorry guys, I'm behind on my water intake. I'm supposed to be at, I'm supposed to be down here. So yeah. So what advice I would give to someone who is trying to get their career started in accounting but never had an internship? Your resume matters. Your volunteer experiences matter. So I would highly recommend get your resume up to par to meet any accounting requirements for potential accounting jobs. So put in the information, things that you learned in your accounting classes that you've taken, if any. Try to get, if you've worked as a cashier in retail, something of the sort, if you've held any office job, put that on your resume. If not, try to get an office job of some sort. Try to volunteer. Try to volunteer somewhere that you can say you've helped out with anything accounting related, if you can, for an organization. But the best thing I would say is definitely put your experiences that you've learned at school. If you've done any classes where you have to do group projects, simulations, you can put that down on your resume. I also volunteered at my dad's job. What I did I think my summer of sophomore year is that I asked to shadow the accountant that works there. So I think for like 3 weeks in the summer, I just shadowed and asked a bunch of questions, and I put that down on my resume. I said that I interned. I wasn't paid for it, but no one needs to know that I didn't get paid, because I did learn. So things like that is what you can do to jumpstart your career in accounting without having an internship. And ultimately, just do your best to find an internship. Internships are the best thing you can do if you're trying to get into a career. How was your experience in Texas? My experience in Texas was awesome. I worked in public accounting, and I also worked in internal audit, and I love Texas. Would I go back one day if the opportunity presents itself? Yes, I would. But I had a very positive experience in Texas. Obviously, there was one-off moments, which I didn't really share much with you guys. I wish I would have, but I didn't really share much with you guys. I wanted to just keep it very positive. But I did have my moments, but overall, I had a great experience working in Texas. And obviously, my money went further in Texas than it does here in Wisconsin. Would you recommend anyone to move there as a Black professional in the accounting field? Of course. If you're talking about moving to Texas, move there, girl. Especially, I don't know, I love Texas, anywhere in Texas. I lived in Houston, Texas, and I loved it. I would recommend anyone, Black, not Black, move to Texas. There's definitely always going to be great career opportunities. There's always I was always being reached out to for jobs in Texas. So in terms of career opportunity, I feel like there's always going to be a career opportunity. In terms of culture is different, especially for somebody like me who grew up in Philadelphia. I'm from the Northeast, so I grew up with a different culture. So I did have to acclimate to the Southern culture a little bit, but other than that, I do recommend it. If you could do it all over again, what would you change? What would you have changed when starting your accounting career? if I could do it all over again, I would have done a third internship. I think so. I would have done a third internship in a different service line. So both of my internships, I did it within audit. However, I did also want to try and intern within the advisory practice, but unfortunately I wasn't able to. But I would have definitely done a third internship. Is working for the Big Four worth it? Yes, it is. Working for the Big Four is worth it because it's a lot of BS that you have to take. Yes, the work isn't always the greatest, but it teaches you so much about work ethic. It teaches you how to be strong. It teaches you how to deal with people. It teaches you how to deal with clients. And also, when just having a Big Four name on your resume speaks a lot. Like, I've always tell you guys this, like when I left public accounting after my first staff year, I was able to negotiate my salary to make what seniors in public accounting make when I left to go into corporate. So once you have that public accounting name on your resume, it does take you places. It puts you in roles that you might not have gotten coming straight out of college, that you might have had to work for a couple of years before getting into that position. So yeah, definitely Big Four, it is worth it. Does your accounting career affect your marriage? No. Okay, that's a hard one. No, it does not affect my marriage, just because my husband does understand the work that I do. And we've just figured out a way to make it work. It's kind of hard sometimes with the traveling, but we just figure out ways to make it work. So I would say no, except for busy season, because busy season you're working a lot, but it doesn't really affect it. It's just having to adjust things in our relationship to make it work for both of us. Interview tips and questions to prepare for an internship with accounting firm. I do have a video which I'm gonna put up somewhere about interview tips. I am going to be doing a interview series, so I'm going to have all things interview related, so look out for that. Is accounting a boring job? I've heard a lot of accountants say that. If so, what motivates you to stick with it? If not, what are your best experiences with it? It depends on the type of accounting you do. Like I said, being an accountant is such a broad term. You could be a staff accountant, you could do accounts receivable, accounts payable, you can be an accounting clerk, you could be a controller, you could be an accounting manager, you could be even within public accounting, you could be an auditor, you could do tax, you can do advisory, you can do so many different things. So I think an accountant, the word accountant, it's so broad, but I think it depends on the specific work that you're doing. There are things that I feel like, even within audit, that get repetitive and can get boring at times, but I love, at least for my sector or for my service line, I love the interaction with the different clients and the different industries. So there are boring moments, but I don't think being an accountant is boring unless you are in one of those positions that you do the same thing every single day, every single month, then yeah, that can be a little repetitive and boring. What motivates me to stick to it? I know where I want to get to a couple years from now, and in order to be able to get there, I need to keep doing my job. And ultimately, I love it. I love my client, like interacting with clients. I love that. It's really taught me a lot and it's teaching me a lot, and I love learning about new industries. So that's what motivates me. And ultimately, if I spent all these years in college getting this degree, I might as well make the best out of it, you know? So yeah. What accounting path allows more travel? I think advisory, going into advisory consulting is what gives you more travel for sure. With audit, you travel to like boring places, like go to like the middle of nowhere. So I would say if you want to do travel within accounting, try to look for positions within advisory or also internal audit. If you want to do internal audit and you want to travel, I would try to find companies that are international, where audits will have to occur in the other places as well, like in the other states or in the other countries. So yeah, like with internal audit, I got to go to Argentina, got to go to LA a couple of times, and yeah, and did some other travel within the United States. If you guys haven't seen my Argentina videos, make sure you go check that out. So yeah. Why did you choose audit? I chose audit because I didn't want to do tax. And the funny thing is, I actually thought that assurance, so what they post on like the job thing is the assurance practice, and I thought assurance meant advisory. I didn't know, like I thought assurance was consulting. I didn't know that assurance was audit and that advisory was consulting. So that's kind of how I got into audit. But after I did my internships, I fell in love with it. I thought it was pretty cool. Makes me feel like a detective at times, you know. But yeah, that's kind of how, so I didn't really choose audit. That's just kind of where I landed, and I've been stuck ever since. Yeah. Has the pandemic affected your job? Yes and no. It's affected obviously not being able to go to client sites, not being able to go into the office, doing everything remotely from home. And I don't have a home office yet, so I do everything from my living room in my small little apartment. So it's been an adjustment. And then also, I talked about it in another video, I did get a temporary pay cut. So that's how the pandemic has affected my job. Whew, Lord. Guys, I think I'm gonna do a part 2 on this. So, yeah. Okay guys, so that is all I'm going to answer in this part 1. Make sure you guys subscribe if you haven't already, turn on your notification bell, like this video, and comment more questions down below so I can keep doing these for you guys. And when you guys like and interact, it helps me know that you guys are really enjoying this content. So I really would appreciate a comment and a like from you guys, okay? So don't forget, we're on the road to 2K. Tell a friend to tell a friend, and I will see you guys in the next video.